Hello everyone! It's time to record a video summarizing all the work what can be seen on my channel. I'm not really a fan of long videos, but I think this video couldn't be short. Unfortunately, unfortunately, or maybe someone will like this format. Please write in comments if you want long videos or short ones, detailed ones or not, in what format to show, or if something should not be shown, because I really try to do it in detail, but the embroidery process is basically long, and considering what I come up with embroidery design as I work, I don't embroider according to any templates, for example. Then of course it takes even more time. I try to teach embroidery technique, and these videos are already on this channel. In the description of this video, I will attach the most important basic videos what have already been published on the channel at the moment, and what can help you in the context of what I will tell you today. By the way, my hands looks a bit different today, right? I'm wearing jewelry today. I love stones very much, but when I work embroidery, I prefer my hands to be bare. I don't like to wear anything generally at this time, so what nothing gets caught, and to feel as free as possible. When I'm working, I don't need extra things actually. And it's just make me uncomfortable. Today we have a summarized video. Although I'm not sure what video will be very structured because I'm a creative and passionate person, and knowing myself, I can go into the wild during the storytelling process. So I highly recommended watching the video to the end, so what you catch the whole essence of my story. And I will also have very important feedback after watching this video, because here I want to talk not only about some specific product or some specific part of what I do, but to summarize everything and tell you what it basically is, Project Unique Embroidery, what I do. And now on my table I have left a certain number of ready-made models, templates, some blanks, and part of the table in the work process, because now I'm currently in the process of making an exclusive accessory, exclusive clutch for a customer, and we will return to this and of course I think in general making this story. And since I told you about the beauty of my hands today, if you like them, write me please. I will get my nails done tomorrow, And of course it doesn't look great right now, but the feeling of the stones on my hands, the femininity, I love it. I really love stones, ring, bracelets, and this is my favorite labradorite. I really love this ring. It's kind of magical. Write what stones you like if you love it, of course. But let's not get distracted. From the very beginning, before I get started, I want to show you this thing and tell you what it's also part of my creative process. I collect kaleidoscopes. Well, I'm not a really collector, but I really love them, and I love when people give me kaleidoscopes, and I love buying them by myself. By the way, something is really emerging there. Some interesting palette, you see. Well, everyone I think knows what kaleidoscope is, and this is of course a kind of magic, fantasy. Some pieces of glass, images, particles inside the product. This some movement transformed into patterns, and probably this once upon a time became the source of my inspiration. As a child and teenager, I had vivid, unusual, and very strange dreams, similar to changing images in a kaleidoscope, and they didn't leave me alone. And later, in the process, when I started embroidering, these drawings, pictures, you can say, came to me one way or another, and I really like this story of interaction with colors, texture, with some graphics, and being mathematician and cyberneticist by my education, understanding of symmetries and proportion, everything together helped me a lot and shaped my creative style. So if you have some of these things what inspire you, like really inspire you, then stick with them. Some may have a kaleidoscope and others may have something else, and it could be anything. I have quite few kaleidoscopes, and this one is now on the table because it fits into the overall composition, and I like on its own. It's made from natural materials, different types of wood, and it's handmade. So Unique Embroidery is also about this, about the focus on environmental friendliness. Everything what I say, and will say on my channel and more is much broader than I just about embroidery. So what is this about? Unique Embroidery is much more than a just creative project. It's about bringing spiritual strength and harmony to humanity through fine motor skills, using this rare but simply ingenious needlework technique. We are talking about double cross stitch for sure, and it's about life purpose and a healthier society, sustainability, and building a world I'm willing to live in forever. What I would like to talk about now is probably to lay out some individual components and start over in general. I will tell you what tools you need, what you need to do embroidery, and approximately what you need to make accessories, because embroidery is one part, making accessories is another. I'll tell you that some of my designs are digitized, not all of them, of course, but those I consider it necessary to digitize, and there is an opportunity to purchase them. The link in the description will take you to my Etsy store. I also suggest watching the playlist on the channel with digitized design. Thanks to this, you can start getting acquainted this wonderful technique right now and start embroidering using preparing templates. What I want to say from very beginning, the history of embroidery is of course very extensive, and one can certainly talk about it endlessly. You can devote an entire channel to this, and there are embroidery historians and embroidery designers. We will not go into such depth right now than examining this issue, but I want to give you an argument what this favorite technique of mine, which I popularize on the channel, is worthy of attention. I'm ready to give various arguments, including historical ones, in favor of embroidery in general. For example, talking about the double cross stitch technique and choosing any layout, any product, like you see right now in my hands, it's a clutch, already made product, but well, I have prepared several examples of finished embroideries next to me. I actually have very few of these samples because I mostly do pre-order embroidery for a specific person. I just don't like the idea of embroidering on the table. I want my works to live their own lives and delight other people who contact me, and I create exclusive embroideries for them, which will become wall decor, will be used as panels, tapestry, framed and placed in the interior. There may be different formats and the desire of customers to cover their works, or they go into closed collections. These can be embroideries on the basis of which I then make accessories, and some parts also go into my portfolio. Links to my social media where you can view my portfolio can be found in the description of this video. What you see now is, of course, a small fraction of all my works. I'm a high productivity person. Now, to focus on the topic of this video and give you specific information, let's start talk about specific aspects regarding double cross stitch. And since I showed you this embroidery design, I just want to show you on the canvas itself what a double cross is. Of course, on my channel, as I already said, there are detailed videos on how to embroider with a double cross. There is a description, both drawn and spoken in voice, and with a background of music. It's simply shown many times in slow motion, in real time, close up, at different distances and on different canvases. How this cross is embroidered and what it looks like. It's brilliantly simple, trust me. And as advantages, as bonuses, we will not now talk about those things what are not on the surface. But for example, working with your hands, manual work, is an amazingly pumping of the brain through fine motor skills of the hands. Those people who embroider live long and better lives. You need to very clearly understand what between any creative process and I popularized with double cross technique, and this is what my project about. So unique embroidery is precisely about about popularization of a technique, and I want to show in this video and in my subsequent ones what this technique is absolutely for everyone. This technique is very interesting. I won't talk long about intangible things now, but just think about fine motor skills and the fact that in order to work with your hands, structure and optimize your work process, you really reboot yourself. Due to the described actions, new neural connection form in the brain. Accordingly, you heal and prolong the quality life of your body and deeply immerse yourself in the creative process, which gives you a seriously relaxing meditative experience. You concentrate on embroidery, you acquire the skill of forming new non-standard solutions, including your focus. You know how to focus in the moment, and at the same time you know how to relax, because this very well takes you away from all what disturbing you, obsessive thoughts, what are constantly swapping in your head. This is actually a truly spiritual practice. Working with your hands has always been a great help for developing and self-improving, and this is only in small fraction, only in small facet. Of course, I can talk about embroidery endlessly. You can understand it already, but in fact, I'm an example of all these advantages by myself. You can check out of my social media to see how I live, and you will see but this is a certainly healthy lifestyle, and thanks to embroidery, it's possible to lead such a lifestyle, look like this, and be a fulfilled person, joyful, and a joy to you. I invite you specifically to my world because I sincerely believe that this is the very right place to be. Our world is what it is, and it's not that life doesn't get easier. It's beautiful in all its manifestation, I believe, but to form your own special path and learn to abstract yourself in a wonderful way. And what I wanted to say, why you need to choose this particular technique. This is, of course, the size, beauty, and ease of execution of this cross. In fact, what is a double cross? It consists of 4 simple crosses. Like let's take a closer example. So I think all understand about stitching and about cross stitching, right? And just right now imagine size of 4 cross stitches. It will be size of 1 double cross stitch. You see, and you see it right now. 1 double cross stitch. Actually, I want to find something brighter. I think I want to show you some colors. So this is the size of it. You see, it's like a 4 crosses, and this is exactly double cross stitch. And if you look at it carefully, it looks like a snowflake. Everybody loves snowflakes. Even there, living on tropical island, we love snowflakes. And of course, everybody knows this special, beautiful structure. This in itself is a wonderful texture, and from a distance you can see it perfectly. You can embroider different design, not necessarily abstract geometry, for example, but this texture itself greatly enriches the design and makes it luxurious, make it more voluminous. This is already a kind of upgrade compared to a simple cross. This technique is not what lost, but it's little used in this context, so you have a great opportunity to be one step ahead of everyone else. Use something what the masses don't do meanwhile. Do something in a retro style, adapting your own idea, but at the same time you can embroider innovative, completely modern design, not necessarily abstract, again I'm telling you, but this technique simply fits perfectly in this direction. Next, about the benefits, since we started with this, I have already said what it's very difficult for me to be structured, but I try very hard. So write me again, tell me what if the other videos, this kind of long videos don't suit you very much, then I will cut them up and make them shorter. But this one I will give you this time I will give you this voluminous one. What else do I want to say about the double cross? What it's suitable for any age, and this is also very very important, because there are myths that age and illness can prevent you from doing embroidery, but this is not the case with this technique. Small children, teenagers, mature and old people, with or without eagle vision, with confident movement or not, will find pleasure and relaxation by embroidering this technique, plunging it in pleasant meditative state and self-acceptance. What else is very important and interesting, what double cross stitch technique equally interesting and accessible for beginners and professionals. All you need is to experiment with different foundations and mixing techniques, gaining amazing opportunities for implementing the most daring art project you want to do. So it's all a matter what kind of canvas you use. Beginners will choose a canvas with fewer cells, like 3, 9, 11 count, and such a canvas with distance between the holes is greater, and the embroidery is larger and faster. Interesting, isn't it? Write me about this. I can show you, for example, what I'm talking about, mixing. So you can mix, for example, to do melange. So you can create your own thread. Yes, you can melange, you can use simple cross stitches and double cross stitches and do special techniques. So here it's a snake. I was embroidering like a snake structure, so possible to use it and for this kind of things. What I want to say more about this stuff is what double cross stitch technique. It's fully unisex. Not all embroidery technique can rely on this. Fortunately, unfortunately, I don't know. But what I'm saying, what double cross stitch technique, it's really universal, and it's like historically we have female and male embroideries technique. Like for understanding, for example, well, I try to be evidence-based, not unfounded, in order to convey to all material. So historically, some embroidery techniques, they are traditionally masculine. Surprised? I now have a metallized gold thread in my hands. I have a project where I work with such thread. I can say, by the way, that working with such thread is not much pleasure at all. It's not that nervous work, but the thread itself, you see, it's like a spins very strongly. This is DMC thread, my favorite manufacturer, and this thread is very complex itself. So here is usually there are 6 strand floors, but the single thread, single one, itself breaks up into wool and it's twisted. So it's like a wavy hair, kind of stiff. The threads is like metallic gold, and also depends on what canvas you use it. Like in general, this is not a pleasant thing. There are wonderful techniques of gold seamstresses, very technique like satin, such transparent textures with threads like this, and this is a huge amount of work. This is an amazing art and embroidery itself. I talk about what I love, about the world into which I want to invite you, but at the same time, I do not deny the beauty of other techniques. I really admire the masters who work in completely different techniques. They make magnificent product and amazing art project. I'm really excited to see this kind of high level of crafting, and as I say, I'm really admire the masters. So what I wanted to say about unisex, in the old days, embroidery this gold thread was equally possible for any genders, but if we are talking about embroidery, for example, for leather bags, for saddles for horses, for cases for pistols and other weapons, special weapon cases, then gold was used there. And this was not just such thread, of course. This is our modern version, but this was real, very thin, really golden fiber, like a thin wire, if you like. And women's hands couldn't cope with such embroidery. They simply didn't have enough strength. Women's hands were not intended for such a craft, and it was an absolutely male monopoly. And all this beauty was made exclusively by male hands. And there is a large number of copies have been preserved in the Hermitage. For example, you can go other museums and take a look to these exclusive works. And by the way, and if I'm talking about unisex now, I will give you an insert now, and you will see with your own eyes the monarch who probably became known as one of the most talented king who took up embroidery. And they are talking about Gustav V. This is the Swedish king. He was a very interesting person, and by the way, a perfect example of what I'm talking about. He was on the throne in the first half of 20th century, and he lived for 92 years. He lived a long, productive life. The museum now houses some of his works, and I already shown like example. I cannot say what this is the only king who embroidered, or what this is like only man who embroidered. Of course, this is not true. Starting from Mesopotamia, from almost prehistoric times, they already have references to embroidery as an element of applied art, isn't it? This is an indisputable fact. You can also turn to sacred books and historical documents and visit museums. It's always very inspiring, and you can see what a huge number of people, well, again, if we are not talking now about the fact that embroidery is a woman's prerogative, this is completely wrong. This is not the prerogative of housewives. This is absolutely not true. A huge number of people who work in corporations at the present time, at the moment, and in order to relax and be able to make fresh strategic decision to gush these ideas what appears in their heads, they happily take advantage of the wonderful benefits of hand embroidery, which is also a fact. So if we talk about the fact that men they're also interested in embroidery, then as an example we can recall Cardinal Richelieu now comes to my mind, after whom a well-known embroidery technique was named. I hope you know it. There was also King Frederick the Great, who was also a famous and very talented embroiderer. Well, in fact, Napoleon Bonaparte loves this kind of activity as well. Just carefully read and perceive the incoming information, and you will find a huge number of examples of a passion of military commanders, monarch, knights, and men of different classes for hand embroidery. Thus, you already understand what I mean when I talk about unisex, and the fact that there is no gender difference for those who are passionate about embroidery. At the present stage, you can go on the internet and find a great number of male enthusiasts who embroider beautifully and do it selflessly in various techniques. Very large number of male embroidery artists. Now I don't remember the name of the artist from China who has been carrying out a colossal project for many years with the help of enthusiasts from different parts of his country. These can be miniature work, so large scale, ambitious, grandiose project can be given as a gift for yourself, for friends, for sale. There is a huge variety, that's what I'm saying. Embroidery is not an activity for just a select gender, it's an activity for everyone except everyone. Another thing I want to tell you about the advantage of double cross stitch is that you can embroider different designs. There are certain techniques that can be used to embroider, well, flowers, knots. There are certain techniques and they are designed for certain patterns. It's all great. There is nothing ugly or imperfect. All techniques are great. You can mix, try everything, and from this you only become richer eternally, more beautiful externally and internally. It's amazing. Just try it and see the result. As for double cross stitch, I don't have an embroidered full moon landscape using this technique with me right now, but it is digitized and you can see it in my Etsy store. I made it in a minimalist Japanese style using a mixed technique of simple and double cross, but I embroidered it on small canvas, like for paintings, and result was just amazing. I really love it, and I have such an example as well. This is part of art project. This is not a commissioned item and may become part of my personal exhibition. I have a lot of plans and I would like to create something interesting to arrange my own exhibition. This is for future. And here, if we are talking about variability, then we can make different forms. I adore geometric forms very much. I'm close to mathematics and I really like this unity, the construction of forms through geometry, through an understanding of proportion. I like it, it's my style. This is how I see the work and this is how I see people. Each of my design is for a reason, not a spontaneous composition of colors, but it's precisely my understanding, sensation, my feelings in relation to a specific project. These could be based on what the customer wanted to get as a result, what the person's favorite colors are, for example, what kind of person he's in terms of energy. These things may be a little bit difficult to understand, but if artists and creative people are listening to me now, then you will understand me. You you don't need any explanation. This is how pictures are drawn. This is how artists create their art object. This is about sculpture and modern art as a separate movement, about naturalistic description. In any creative technique, absolutely. Hand embroidery is not different in this sense, it's just what the implementation is longer and sometimes more complex. If you are painting in canvas, then of course there are certain rules, what you need to know. This is a huge amount of knowledge in art. You need to know how to apply strokes and how and what paint to mix. Very large number of techniques. You can use different devices and get different results. You're talking about fine art, so go to other channels and see all their diversity and their absolute splendor of talented people. Our planet is populated by billions of people, and I think a huge number of them came to this earth for a reason, but in order to make the world a better place through creativity. What I wanted to say that using this double cross technique, you can embroider both abstraction and some romantic pictures. Make a minimalist, restrained design. Take, for example, 2-3 colors and create a shape with it. It's possible. Well, it's difficult if you embroider flowers, so you have some kind of technique what needs to be applied as a applique on something or other requirements. If they are talking about canvas and hand embroidery using the double cross stitch technique, then it's self-sufficient. There is something royal about it. It doesn't tolerate emptiness. They can't embroider a piece, and then all what's left to do is just canvas. There will be a piece of canvas somewhere here, for example. Canvas is a kind of fabric with a hole. I will tell you about it very quickly later too. It will be messy, it will be ugly, we can't do it now. If you embroider on silk, for example, on some thin fabric, you can make an application, small elements inserted on the sides, and it will look very harmonious. For this technique, this is impossible. You need to fill the entire space of the absolute, and you need to understand the relation of the structure, volume itself. By the way, it itself is very pleasant to the touch. My works are not only beautiful, they attract admiring glances, as my clients say, but they're also very tactilely pleasant. They have a special sensuality, and by the way, this is also one of their advantages in favor. Some print may be beautiful and bright to the eye, but tactile sensation do not convey this. And here you see a very pleasant sensual pleasure from contact with the product. That's why a long time ago I came up with the idea of making products based on embroidered canvas, to give it the opportunity to go to the masses, come into contact with the hands of other people, and make accessories for this purpose. Because if it's embroidered painting, then it hangs somewhere on the wall, usually in glass, framed, and there is no way to touch it. Always, I also have positive reviews, feedback for such embroideries. Customers say what my painting they calm them, and they just look at my designs, and this plunges them into some kind of state. Well, I'm trying to keep in my mind the general idea of video and structure, and let's back to next benefit. Versatility. You can embroider in hoop and leave it as a decoration, right? You can embroider on your hands, so on your hands, not using hoop. As I do, for example. For me, it's more suitable. I really love it. I love this feeling of canvas in my hand. I like to control whole process, maintain a special tension between the canvas and the threads woven into it. I like it. This not only improves fine motor skills of the hands, but also tones the body. This is a special story, something akin to gymnastics. I have already published a video on this topic on my channel. You must follow certain rules. You must take breaks at a certain time. Don't sit too long on embroidery, but there are no cramps. So what the body does not stagnate in any one position. If you do all this correctly, then you will certainly achieve amazing results. But if they are talking about versatility, then I can show you something using the example of my current project. As you can see, this is already glued base for the future clutch. It will be Theme purse. Amazing serious design. It's flexible and elastic. There was a special order. The person wanted more powerful season to have more control over the product. Here, previous example, I just show you. So such a innovative moment within existing model. So it's this technique what allows you to make an accessory from embroidered canvas. Other techniques are also used as variations, but the full creation of a foundation, is available only to this one. But by the way, we're not just talking about accessories. Initially, the technique was used to open up pillows, and it's just perfect for this. It's true. Pillowcases too. They are simply born for each other, but you can make bedspreads the same way. I embroidered this project. I have a huge project. I started with it. I was just learning this technique at that time. And you can go to my portfolio and look at the final result. I think it's posted Instagram and Facebook. This is a huge blanket made of pieces of embroidery. It started out of nothing, without any idea. And in the process, I got so carried away that in the end, something unusual, even ethnic, was born. It unusual ornamentation with echoes of Indian culture. Don't ask me why. I didn't specially look for anything, didn't look, everything always comes to me intuitively, on its own. At that time, I really wanted to work with the red color, and I created something what reflected my condition, my feelings at that time. It's also possible based on this technique, so don't forget what I'm talking about embroidery using the double cross stitch. This is help you to make bags, clutches, purses, as well as jewelry, bracelets, cuffs, necklaces, and so on. So use your imagination and go ahead. This is just briefly, and I think in terms of advantages, this is quite enough to make you fall in love with this technique forever. I hope that I was able to convince you that this technique is truly amazing. I really hope it. Look again close up, like more closely. On this embroidery I will show you. It's very beautiful in texture, shape, really diverse technique, what will suit everyone. I don't even know who might not be interested in it. Everyone who has a desire to do something with their own hands clearly falls in love with this hand embroidery technique. This is my very sincere, very open opinion. I hope so, and I feel so. Now, after such a presentation, it becomes clear to you what Unique Embroidery project is. This is the part associated with embroidering exclusive designs and then making products from them upon request if necessary. Unique Embroidery is also a project that gives you the opportunity to learn. Just to go to the channel, watch the video, watch it once, twice, 3 times, get inspired, come up with something of your own. Just take a canvas and start embroidering without hesitation, without taking anything into account, without worrying about anything. Just imagine, just enjoying the process and coming up with your own designs, and you will see that you are infinitely talented. You will simply be proud of yourself, look at yourself with completely different eyes, and this is an amazing feeling, believe me. What else about Unique Embroidery? Of course, this training may be different format, so you can read about this on my social networks. Unique Embroidery also the next step in being able to learn and or create hand embroidery designs based on my designs, digitized into patterns. I will show you now. At the beginning of this video, I showed you an embroidered pattern. It calls under the sun. You see, it's written here on the paper. You see, under the sun. And this design, like my other designs, was digitized, and the pattern looks like this. The hem is black and white with its own legend, with hem and color, same with attached legend. All details are listed here. Very convenient and understandable. There are all the necessary explanations, calculation of a number of threads for different canvases, for recommendations for how many threads to embroider. And here also footnote of DMC palette for sure. You can embroider actually in the threads you want, you like, but I take DMC as a standard. And explanation on what the cross is it here, and so on. This is also part of the Unique Embroidery project. Now briefly in the last 10 minutes, so as not to delay too much, I will show you what you need, what attributes you will need to start embroidering. Of course, you will need a canvas. And I will show you right now. As you can see, I have a lot of and it varies in type, hardness, and so on. You see, so it's very important to have this stuff. So I will go through all the boxes in my studio, so what you can see what I'm working this and understand what will be useful to you. Of course, you will need threads. Sometimes I use special flows for a special project, but otherwise I work on the basis of a classical palette, and then digitize. I make wraps based on this knowledge. You will need threads as much as possible. They can be very diverse. And it's also very important. It's not less important than canvas. This is a box of my special threads, and when I began to collect here, they started threads and were not completed, used, and store them for future work. Yes, very wise. The order and sorting of materials is very important. Keep this in mind, and at the same time I use not only DMC threads. I'm using in different brands. So what here, for example, I can show you these non-standard threads. It's also DMC, but not with 6 threads, but 8 fibers in one thread. It was experimental work. I have a huge amount of leftover from different projects, and I carefully collect them by colors. so buying sometimes unusual colors, of course, and I buy the thread what I use most often in larger quantities. Black, it's this exact example. So this is about threads. The next and most important thing is needles. I also have a video about this on my channel. I have a sufficient number of different types. The next thing is a magnet, so as not to lose the needle while working. We have already seen these cherries so many times in my videos, so now you see magnetize here little thing for accessory. Scissors. There are many special of them. This one, my beautiful one for embroidery. This one is tailoring scissors for cutting canvas, making products, and this one is just also for making accessories for just more tiny things. I also keep pliers in my studio. I don't use them very often, so they're just a bit rusted, but sometimes I need it when my fingers haven't forces, not enough strains, I using them. And of course, crooked hook. I have already shown many times how I use it to hide threads on the wrong side and embroider when thread becomes too short, so it's a very useful tool. You will also need some pins if you really want to do accessories, of course centimeter. So you need to have a few threads. I have large numbers, different colors from different projects, so it's just example. And you will need, of course, all kind of flights, ribbon, locks, some like fittings, some zippers as well, unusual or usual fitting, some maybe special if you need, so stuff for creating handles or prepare it something really for interesting final result like this, for example. Of course, you need this special fabric for season if you want to make high quality accessories. So this is in short the most basic things for work. So what I can show you more, by the way, these are ready-made parts for future clutch. Tactile. Let's put all things in order here to make it a little more nicely on the table. So these are, as I said, ready-made parts, logo, handle. I've already posted a video about this on my channel. Please note how incredibly high quality it is. I mean, this way I'm doing stuff. I don't use a sewing machine. I only process and sew all the details by hand to preserve the beauty of embroidery. And all these small details is important. Important in general, it's very important for me. The seam, as you can see, is invisible. I will post a link below to video where I show how to make such a seam. details are very important to me, and I teach you these details here, and I want you to make this beauty together with me. I hope what I was convincing, and what you like everything what I showed, and of course you will think about it, or right now go to all the links that are below and look. You will find designs, interesting projects, what you would like to start embroidering directly right now. You might want to get to know more about this technique, or maybe decide to contact me and order exclusive embroidery for you. I sincerely hope for all this. Remember what you make with your own hands has special value. It's true, and it's make a lot of sense. Welcome to the world of Unique Embroidery. Subscribe to the channel, share your creation. I love to see what beauty you create. I'm very glad to be useful for you, to be insightful, and see you in the future. And now, at the end of my long but I really hope useful story, I invite you to enjoy close-ups and beauty, double cross stitch embroidery in accessories.